that over the last 30 days, she has lost 397,000 subscribers.
All right, so you know who Blake Lively is, right? Most people know her. Yeah, see, the people who are booing, they know.
Blake and Ryan will wind up fighting a real dragon.
Blake Lively may think they have the upper hand. Sources say she has no idea what's coming regarding her battle with Justin Baldoni.
And Blake Lively's PR team wants us to know that everything that's happening right now is hurting Blake's feelings.
I mean, that's not authorship, that's not autonomy, that's control, that's selfishness, that's entitlement. This woman is a monster.
Blake Lively's Hollywood downfall has begun, and trust me, it's worse than anyone ever imagined. Once viewed as the ultimate American sweetheart, perfect marriage, enviable style, and a brand built on relatability, she now finds herself branded as the biggest villain in Tinseltown. Fans are fleeing her social media accounts by the hundreds of thousands. Industry insiders are leaking horror stories about her on-set behavior, and the media is ripping her to shreds.
This woman is the most tone-deaf and ridiculous. I can't even.
Grow up. You're in the public eye. You've got probably hundreds of millions thanks to your husband. Just shut up. No one cares.
Here's the kicker. The very image that was supposed to spotlight her star power instead depicted her hurling a slingshot at co-star and producer Justin Baldoni, essentially confirming every nasty rumor swirling about her alleged attempts to sabotage him. While Blake tried to spin it as sexist and offensive, fans and critics alike saw right through the victim act.
Basically saying you're a liar, you misrepresent who you are.
Suddenly, the so-called America's sweetheart was recast as a controlling, manipulative tyrant who steamrolls anyone standing in her way.
You know, someone asked me recently why this particular case has seized the world. It was just a perfect act of evil.
This all began on the set of It Ends With Us, where Blake, apparently unsatisfied just being the actress and an executive producer, allegedly demanded to run the entire production. She reportedly forced script changes, overrode the director's calls, and insisted the final product reflect her every whim.
That she wanted to control every scene, wanted to see all the dailies, wanted to do her own cut and did her own cut of the movie. All this is very unusual for just an actress in the film.
For an executive producer to have a competing cut of a film is incredibly bizarre. But when she starts threatening people and saying, I'm not going to promote the film, I'm not going to do anything unless you use my cut.
Even though she wasn't the project's official director, for a hot minute, the public believed her spin, that Justin Baldoni was some problematic co-star whose questionable behavior needed to be exposed. But then Baldoni clapped back with receipts, messages, emails, and production details that painted a very different picture.
We'll see what the documents actually say, because that's what we have are documents. Documents actually don't lie, people do. And it's important that everyone sees all of the documents that are involved in the case, because there are people that have been destroyed as a result of the allegations that have been made so far in this case.
Instead of the outspoken feminist champion some thought she was, Blake appeared more like a power-hungry star weaponizing the #MeToo movement for personal gain. And once those receipts landed, her entire house of cards collapsed almost overnight.
Note the consequence has been terrible for Blake and Ryan in terms of people following them.
Public sentiment flipped as swiftly as her follower count tanked. She's reportedly dropped more than 864,000 followers since September, while Baldoni's numbers have surged well past the 200,000 mark.
For the last 30 days, she has lost 397,000 subscribers, okay? That is not a small amount. If you similarly go over to Ryan Reynolds, he's lost almost the same amount, 1,000 more than her, 398,000 subscribers.
Even Ryan Reynolds, the once untouchable king of witty social media banter, hasn't been spared. He's lost a comparable number of followers, and fans are calling him out for his awkward attempts at humor to downplay the severity of the allegations. His ill-timed joke on SNL's 50th anniversary backfired so badly that even hardcore Reynolds loyalists cringed.
It's SNL 50-year anniversary, and or Saturday night, whatever. Ryan Reynolds stands up, and she's like, how's it going? He's like, good. Why? What have you heard? and it was all ha 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 ha.
The biggest nail in Blake's coffin, however, wasn't just the fan backlash or the social media exodus. It was the sudden and deafening silence from her celebrity inner circle. Allegedly, many of Hollywood's A-listers who once worshipped at the altar of Blake and Ryan's perfect marriage are now scrambling for the exits. Sources claim that some big-name actresses who initially offered subtle support have backpedaled at record speed. Rumor has it that even Taylor Swift, one of Blake's closest friends, has opted to remain stone-cold silent, which, for many fans, speaks louder than any public statement could. After all, if Taylor won't come to your defense, who will? Meanwhile, Hollywood's reaction has been equally brutal. Powerful studios who once courted Blake for leading roles are said to be quietly reassessing whether she's worth the risk. Who wants to bring on an actress whose alleged need for control overshadows the director's creative vision and leads to a potential PR disaster?
I would show up on a set. I knew that they just wanted me to show up and look cute and stand on a little pink sticker where I'm supposed to go and say what I'm supposed to say. But I also knew that that wasn't fulfilling for me, that I wanted to be a part of the storytelling, that I wanted to be a part of the narrative, whether that be in the writing, in the costume design, in creating the character.
And that's not even touching on the lawsuit fiasco that's playing out, with Baldoni's legal team, led by the formidable Brian Friedman, firing off rebuttals to every claim Blake lobs at them. Fans who've been following the blow-by-blow updates say it's reminiscent of the Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard drama, only this time the public's sympathy is firmly behind Baldoni. Why? Because the digital paper trail is out there. People can see the full context behind texts and emails that Blake initially tried to spin for her own narrative.
And Brian Friedman knows how to fight back against a bully. Trust me. And he started telling everybody Justin Baldoni's side. He told us that Justin Baldoni denied those claims of sexual harassment and only tried to appease Blake Lively because she was such a high-maintenance diva bully brat. He had to bend over backwards just to get her to shut up and complete the film.
Allegedly, she even omitted or reworked certain messages in her lawsuit to paint Baldoni as the aggressor, but Friedman produced the unedited versions, exposing the contradictions. Suddenly, the so-called smoking gun turned into the biggest cell phone in her entire case. The meltdown reached a fever pitch when the Hollywood Reporter didn't just critique her behavior, it turned it into an iconic cover illustration showing Blake slingshotting Baldoni, capturing in one image the rumored reality of her behind-the-scenes attempts to bury him. When she cried sexism over a simple cartoon, social media went into overdrive, calling her out for hypocrisy and reminding her that truly empowered women don't throw tantrums over satire that highlights very real concerns about their conduct.
The version of this where Justin Baldoni was just Michael Scott in The Office, where he's just saying inappropriate things, but not with any ill will. But Blake Lively, much more different culturally, more about the power and thinking that this is about the feminist Me Too movement. How dare you do this?
In the midst of all this chaos, Justin Baldoni looks like the calm center of the storm. He hasn't been trashing Blake in interviews or waging a tabloid war. Sources say he's relaxing in Hawaii, surfing, and letting his lawyers handle the legal nitty-gritty, all while continuing to work on new projects that are generating buzz for the right reasons. Hollywood is taking note too. Studios are said to be intrigued by how gracefully Baldoni is handling the scandal, especially in an era where social media outcry can destroy a career in a matter of days. By contrast, Blake's every attempt at damage control only seems to confirm the worst allegations against her. She did an interview in which she tried to justify her involvement in the script, claiming it was an artist's right to participate in the storytelling, but fans pointed out that she basically admitted to lying about her intentions to directors during auditions just so she could wrest creative control once she was hired. As one YouTube pundit put it, if you want to run the show, pitch yourself as the director or producer from day one. Don't hoodwink everyone after you've already signed on as an actress. Meanwhile, Ryan Reynolds is reportedly feeling the heat. Not only is his typically bulletproof sense of humor failing to diffuse the situation, but some insiders suggest his brand might be collateral damage if he keeps trying to spin Blake's story. After all, one ill-conceived wink-wink joke to the camera about serious allegations is enough to alienate fans who once loved his carefree persona. But the real question everyone's asking is whether Blake can stage a comeback or if her downfall is permanent.
And in her complaint, the thing she's bitching about is that this terrible PR campaign that was opened up against her hurt sales of her liquor brand and her hair care products.
If public sentiment is any clue, things aren't looking good. Online comment sections are flooded with calls to boycott her movies. T-channels on YouTube are uploading daily exposés dissecting every new piece of evidence. And A-list friends, producers, and brand endorsers are all steering clear. Some speculate that if she were to publicly own up to her mistakes, perhaps by dropping the allegations against Baldoni and apologizing for the fiasco, there might be a path to redemption. Yet her current strategy seems to be doubling down on the victim narrative, which only further alienates fans who've seen the receipts for themselves. Hollywood is notoriously ruthless when it comes to perceived liabilities, and with so many rising stars looking to claim top billing, it's not hard to imagine studios deciding Blake is simply too risky to bet on, especially when her negative press is overshadowing entire productions.
That's insane and that's crazy. And this is a reason why I think in the future people are just not going to work with her, because it's starting to add up. People are realizing that this is a pathology.
No one wants their film's marketing campaign dominated by behind-the-scenes dramas. Add to that the fact that she's losing thousands of followers by the day, and it becomes clear just how big this crisis is. This isn't just a gossip blog flare-up. It's a deep, sustained reputational collapse that could jeopardize future endorsements, lead roles, and her standing on the A-list. From the vantage point of fans, this saga has been a wild ride. Initially, many were shocked to hear that someone with such a squeaky clean image could be so controlling. But as more insider info trickles out, the shock is replaced by a sense of "I knew it" cynicism, with many pointing to subtle red flags in past interviews where Blake boasted about creatively guiding her roles. In those days, it seemed charming. Now, it looks like a carefully curated facade meant to hide a pattern of entitlement. And the entanglement with Justin Baldoni, who many see as a genuine, laid-back artist, only amplifies the public's anger. He's perceived as the nice guy getting steamrolled by a Hollywood powerhouse, trying to frame him for harassment based on cultural differences rooted in his Baha'i faith. The moment that was meant to destroy him, Blake's lawsuit, merely spotlighted her alleged manipulations, since her own evidence proved contradictory once Baldoni's legal team laid out the unedited facts.
This person is not an honest broker. I believe her less than ever. I actually disbelieve her fully now.
As for Ryan, viewers are already predicting a PR meltdown in the coming months if he doesn't separate his brand from Blake's swirling controversies. The internet never forgets, and every cringeworthy joke he cracks about the situation becomes new fuel for outraged fans. In a weird twist, some are even speculating that the couple's once legendary comedic dynamic might fracture under the weight of these accusations, especially if brand deals and future film offers start to dry up. Which brings us back to the question, is there any way for Blake to salvage her once flawless image? If there is, it's not obvious. With The Hollywood Reporter calling her out, social media turning on her, and key figures in the industry distancing themselves, the odds are stacked mightily against her. She might still have a legion of diehard supporters, but each passing day sees that group dwindle. And if the rumored behind-the-scenes meltdown is any indication, complete with canceled appearances, frantic calls to PR reps, and attempts to shift blame, it's clear that a major turning point has been reached. So, what do you think? Is this truly the end of Blake Lively's glittering Hollywood reign, or can she somehow spin yet another narrative to claw her way back to the top? Let us know in the comments below, because this scandal is far from over, and we'll be here reporting on every shocking twist and turn. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update on this unfolding drama. And trust me, you won't want to miss what happens next, because Hollywood is abuzz with rumors. That more explosive details are about to drop. This is the story of how a perfect Hollywood star might have just lost everything to her own ambition. And if she's not careful, it could spell the end of her career for good. Stay tuned for more.